My family hijacked my son's $3,900 birthday party, said he'd understand if it was Ava's instead. They replaced his name with hers, hung a unicorn banner, and told me to just share the space. I didn't argue. I took my son's hand and walked out. The next morning, my mom showed up with banana bread and a guilt trip, but I'd already decided I'm done being the family doormat. Before we dive in, hit that subscribe button and tell me in the comments, where in the world are you watching from? Let's get into it. I spent $3,900 on my son's birthday party, every dollar planned down to the detail, custom cake, game stations, a balloon arch with his name on it, Max in huge silver foil letters. He was turning 7, and after the hell of this past year, the custody shifts, the school bullying, the therapy appointments, I wanted him to feel celebrated. Just one day that was all about him. I'm a project manager by trade, so I treated this like a launch. Every vendor locked in, timeline color-coded, guest list capped. I even checked the forecast like I was NASA prepping a launch. It was supposed to be perfect, but when we pulled up to the venue, I knew something was wrong. There were pink balloons on the steps, a unicorn welcome sign on the front door, and when we stepped inside, there was a giant banner stretched across the back wall that said, "Happy 6th birthday, Ava." My niece, my sister Jenna's daughter. For a moment, I thought maybe it was a prank. Maybe they got the dates mixed up. Or maybe someone accidentally double-booked. But then I saw my mother standing by the cake table, smiling like nothing was off. Jenna was already directing a group of kids to the piñata area, the same one I'd reserved. My son, Max, just stood there, eyes scanning everything. The color scheme, the decorations, the absence of anything that had his name on it. "Mom," I said, trying to keep my voice level. "What's going on?" She looked at me like I was being dramatic. "Oh, Mark, we figured it made more sense to combine things. You know, family parties are expensive these days. Ava's birthday is just a week after Max's, and Jenna was already planning something smaller, so we thought." "You thought you'd take over the party I planned and paid for?" I asked. My sister finally noticed me. "We left a corner of the room for Max," she said, pointing to a sad-looking fold-out table in the back with a single blue balloon tied to it. "He can open presents there, and we'll do a joint cake." I looked down at Max. He didn't cry. He didn't throw a tantrum. He just nodded slowly and whispered, "It's okay, Dad." But it wasn't okay. It was the kind of moment that quietly breaks something in you, because it wasn't just about the party. It was about how easy it was for them to erase him, to erase me. I stood there for another second, trying to decide if I should yell, demand they take everything down, show the signed contract with the venue. But Max's hand was already in mine. So I turned around and we walked out. No scene, no shouting, just silence. And in that silence, I felt something crack open. Not rage, clarity. The ride home was quiet, but not awkward. Max was holding the little paper crown he never got to wear, and I was watching the road like it might give me answers. My brain was buzzing, but not in the way it used to when I'd start justifying everyone's behavior. This time, it was like something had finally snapped loose. All I could think about was how predictable this had been, how it was just another page in a book I'd been reading my entire life. I was always the easy one, the responsible one, the fixer, the one who could be counted on. Not because they appreciated it, but because they knew I wouldn't say no. It started when I was a kid. Jenna would throw tantrums, break things, skip school. I was the straight A student, the quiet one. She got attention for her chaos. I got it for being low maintenance. I didn't realize back then that low maintenance is just code for we're not going to meet your needs. When Dad left, I became the man of the house. I was 13. Suddenly I was walking to 2 jobs after school. One bagging groceries, the other refilling vending machines with my uncle. I gave the money to Mom without being asked. Jenna didn't lift a finger. And when she dropped out of college and got pregnant with Ava, it was my savings account Mom raided to help with the crib and diapers. She called it borrowing. She never paid me back. Even when I bought my first car, I wasn't allowed to be proud of it. "Must be nice," Jenna would say, as if I hadn't worked every summer, skipped every vacation, and still lived on instant noodles just to make it happen. But I let it slide. Every time. Because that's what I'd been trained to do. To understand. That word. Understand. They used it like a weapon. I was supposed to understand when Jenna needed help with Ava. I was supposed to understand when Mom couldn't make it to Max's school play. I was supposed to understand when they forgot my birthday. When they bailed on Christmas. When they made jokes about how intense I was for needing structure and boundaries. I told myself I was being mature. I told myself it wasn't worth starting drama. That peace was better than being right. But walking out of that party, watching my son shrink into himself like I used to, something inside me said, enough. For years, I swallowed every slight and told myself it was love. That love meant patience, sacrifice, compromise. But love without respect isn't love. It's control. I realized something else, too. I'd been protecting Max from the world, but I hadn't been protecting him from my family. That ends now. Looking back, I should have known. The signs were all there. Soft, subtle, and sickening in hindsight. A week before the party, Jenna had texted, "What time does Max's party start again? Just curious. Might bring Ava to hang out." That was her opener. No RSVP. No, should I bring a gift? Just a casual mention of hanging out. As if this was some community picnic and not the birthday party I'd been planning for 2 months. Then Mom chimed in a day later. "It's nice that the cousins are close in age. Maybe next year we can do something together. More efficient, don't you think?" Efficient. Like it was a spreadsheet. I brushed it off. Or maybe I chose not to see it. I was exhausted, juggling a project deadline and dealing with Max's anxiety about second grade. The last thing I wanted was another confrontation with my family. I've been conditioned to think that calling out boundary crossing is making a scene, that being direct is being dramatic. So I swallowed the discomfort. I even joked about it to myself. Nah, I thought. They wouldn't do that. But the signs kept coming. 2 days before the party, Mom called and asked if there would be enough chairs. I said yes, I'd confirmed with the venue. Then she asked if the girls from Jenna's side could come by briefly. "Their side?" I asked. "Just for a little bit," she said. "They've been dying to see Ava in her dress." I should have said no, but I didn't. I said, "Sure, for a bit." Because that's who I've always been. The accommodating one. The one who doesn't want to rock the boat, even when the boat's clearly headed toward a waterfall. Then, the day before the party, Jenna texted again. "Hey, what kind of cake did you order again? Just wondering if it clashes with Ava's." Clashes. I reread that text at least 5 times, heart thudding. Ava's cake? Why would that matter? I asked what she meant. No response. Just a thumbs up emoji. I stared at my phone, my gut screaming. But I did nothing. I told myself I was overthinking it, that maybe they meant something innocent, that it would work itself out. But it didn't. They weren't sneaky. They were certain I wouldn't stop them. That's the worst part. It wasn't a misunderstanding. It was a calculation. Because deep down, they knew I'd rather eat the hurt than serve it back. So they stole my son's party out from under us. And they were so confident I'd let them. They had the audacity to decorate early. They gambled on my silence. And for most of my life, they would have won. But not this time. When we first walked into that venue, and I saw Ava's name plastered across the room, my first instinct was still to problem solve. To figure out how to salvage things, how to smile through it for Max's sake. But the moment that broke me didn't come from them. It came from him. Max stood by the wall, holding the gift bag he'd decorated for his friends. He looked up at me and said, It's okay, Dad. I don't mind sharing. He said it like he meant it. Like he was already learning what I had, that if you make yourself small enough, quiet enough, easy enough, maybe the people you love won't be mad at you. That sentence, spoken in his soft little voice, shattered something I didn't even know I'd been holding together. I crouched next to him, looked him in the eye, and said, "No, it's not okay. Not this time." I stood up and walked back toward the front of the room where Mom was chatting with Jenna near the drinks table like they were hosting a neighborhood barbecue. "I need to talk to both of you," I said, calm, flat, controlled. They glanced at each other, Mom with a forced smile, Jenna with a smirk I'd seen too many times. "What's the problem?" Jenna said, already annoyed. "You're seriously making this weird right now?" "You hijacked my son's birthday," I said. "I paid for this venue. I planned this entire thing, and you turned it into this without even telling me." Mom stepped in, tone syrupy. "Mark, honey, don't overreact. The kids are happy. It's just a shared celebration." "It's not shared," I said. "It's stolen. You didn't ask. You decided." People were starting to notice. A few parents glanced over. Someone turned down the music slightly. Jenna rolled her eyes. "Seriously? You're going to make this about you?" "No," I said. "I'm making it about Max, and we're leaving." Mom reached for my arm. "Mark, don't ruin this." But I was already walking back toward Max. He was sitting quietly on the bench, knees bouncing, pretending not to listen. I held out my hand. "Let's go, bud." He looked surprised. "Are we not staying?" I shook my head. "Not staying." We walked past the unicorn cake, past the pink goodie bags, past the banner that never should have been there. I could feel their stares burning into my back. But no one followed us. No one called after Max. We stepped into the sunlight and kept walking, just the two of us. And I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Control. Not over them. Over myself. Over what I would and wouldn't allow anymore. That wasn't a scene. That was a boundary. And I think Max felt it too. Outside the venue, I took a breath like I hadn't in years, one that reached all the way down. Max was holding my hand tightly, not crying, not asking questions, just quiet. I could feel his heart beating fast through his little palm. We sat on a bench nearby. I handed him my phone and let him play a game while I made a call I never thought I'd make. My ex picked up on the second ring. "Hey, something happened," I said, keeping my voice even. "I'm with Max. We're safe. But the party's not happening, not like we planned." She didn't even ask for details. "Where are you?" I told her. She said, "I'll be there in 15. She showed up in 10, birthday bags in the trunk, backup cake from the store, balloons from the dollar place down the street. And somehow, just like that, a new plan started forming. We found a small park not far away. I called the venue manager, explained what happened, calmly, factually, told him I needed to cancel the rest of the day's reservation. "Mr. Decker, you paid for the room," he said, surprised. "Do you want me to ask the other guests to leave?" I glanced at Max tossing a ball with his mom, laughing like nothing happened. "No," I said. "Let them have it. But take down the banner with my son's name, if it's still up. Please." Then I drove back, alone. The hallway outside the party room was quieter now. I saw Mom near the door, arguing with a staff member who was gently taking down Ava's decorations. She spotted me. "What are you doing?" "I canceled the booking," I said, handing her the printed invoice. "My name's on it. I reserved it. I'm revoking it. You're trespassing." She looked stunned. "Mark, be serious." "I am." Jenna came storming out of the room. "Are you kidding me? You canceled the whole thing? Ava's still in there with her friends." "You should have booked your own space," I said. "This was Max's day. You took it." Mom stepped between us. "You're being cruel. Over a party?" I nodded. Yeah, because it's not about a party. It's about every single time I let you all walk over me and told myself it wasn't worth fighting. Well, this one is. They didn't yell. They just stood there, stunned. For once I had nothing left to explain. I turned and walked away, and I didn't look back. The park wasn't fancy, just a couple of benches, a faded slide, and an old oak tree that offered some decent shade. But when I laid out the folding table and set the store-bought cake down, a blue frosted sheet cake with Happy Birthday Max, scribbled in rushed icing, it felt right. His mom set up a Bluetooth speaker and played his favorite songs. Max and two of his neighborhood buddies chased each other across the grass, laughing harder than they ever did at those expensive bounce houses. It wasn't the party I had planned. It was better. The wind was still cool. The frosting was a little too sweet, but it was his. For the first time all day, I saw joy that wasn't clouded by forced politeness. No corners, no compromises, just Max, free. While he played, I checked my phone. 12 missed messages. The family group chat had exploded. Jenna, can't believe you humiliated us in front of everyone. Ava was crying. Mom, you didn't have to cancel. That was immature and selfish. Cousin Rachel, wow. All that drama over some balloons and cake? And then, Mom, I raised you better than this. Family means putting others first. I stared at those words, my jaw tightening. Family means putting others first. That's what they always meant, me putting them first. For once I didn't respond. I didn't defend myself. I didn't try to be the peacemaker. I just turned off notifications and slipped the phone back into my pocket. Because here's the truth no one likes to admit. Peace doesn't come from avoiding conflict. It comes from being willing to have it when the line gets crossed. And today, that line wasn't just crossed. It was trampled. Max came running back with grass stains on his knees and blue frosting on his nose. "Dad!" he shouted, holding up a crooked little gift bag one of the neighborhood kids had handed him. "I got slime." I smiled so hard it almost hurt. "Nice," I said. "That's awesome, bud." His mom snapped a picture. Max threw his arms around both of us. In the background, the speaker played his favorite song, off-key, a little too loud, but perfect. We sat together and sang, just the three of us. No drama, no demands, no hijacked moments. Just cake, laughter, and a boy who finally got to feel like he mattered. The next morning, I opened the door to find my mother standing there with a Tupperware container and a practiced frown. "I made banana bread," she said, like that could erase what happened. I didn't invite her in. She stepped forward anyway. "I wanted to talk," she said, already brushing past me into the kitchen. "I think we should all calm down and have a conversation like adults." I didn't reply. I just stood by the counter and let her fill the silence. She talked about how disappointed Jenna was, how embarrassed she was in front of the other parents, how I'd made a private misunderstanding into a public tantrum. Then she said, "You always overreact when things don't go your way." I almost laughed, but I didn't, because I wasn't angry. Not anymore. I was done. "I didn't overreact," I said. "I enforced a boundary. That's what adults do." She looked surprised, that I was calm, that I wasn't yelling, that I wasn't apologizing. Her voice softened. "Honey, we're family. This is just a bump. We love you. Jenna loves you. She just assumed you'd understand." There it was again. That word, understand. I nodded slowly. I do understand now. I understand exactly what role I've been expected to play in this family, and I'm done playing it. "You're being selfish," she snapped, the warmth gone in an instant. I tilted my head. "No, I'm finally being fair. To myself, and to Max." Her mouth opened like she had more to say, but I didn't let her get there. "I've removed Jenna from my calendar. There will be no more birthday parties, holidays, or texts pretending we're close." I've removed myself from the family chat. I've rerouted all the financial favors you've asked for to the trash bin. I'm no longer available for guilt-based errands, check writing, or cleanup duty. She blinked. From now on, I continued, you can love me without using me, or not at all. That part's up to you. She stood there, clutching the banana bread like it was a peace treaty. I didn't take it. When she finally left, I felt a strange quiet. Not emptiness. Space. The next few days were oddly peaceful. The texts slowed. The guilt trips fizzled. And for the first time in years, my weekends belonged to me and my son. We went to the zoo. We built a Lego city. We made pancakes with too much syrup. No drama. No sharing the spotlight. No shrinking to keep others comfortable. Just us. Two people who finally understood what love looks like when it's given freely, not demanded. I'm not bitter. I'm not angry. I'm just done. And for the first time in my life, I feel free.